Welcome to Film 360, the Full Circle Film Show. I am here with one of my favorite actresses in Utah, and we're going to be talking about some awesome auditioning tips, so stay tuned. We're here tonight with Charla Bocchicchio, and she has been acting in Utah for...
Well, I've been back in Utah for almost
that's
4.5 years.
Yeah?
But I went to the University of Utah as an undergrad when I was just a wee one.
Wow, I forgot about that. We talked about that.
Yeah, I got my start in Utah.
Awesome.
I was with McCarty back then. Yeah, so that's where it was like coming home when I came back.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. So Charla has, I've actually worked with her a few times, and she's always great to have on a set. Let's take a quick look at her demo reel.
I was thinking...
I've been cheating on you. But... I know you're angry. You're confused. Scared, maybe.
Look at yourself!
No! You look at yourself! Oh no, you couldn't. Strict no ladies policy. If I promised to never do it again.
Never have trouble pulling myself out of bed. I'm dead.
Stay with me. Stay with me. Don't you down me. Okay?
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Great stuff. Now, there's something in particular I wanted to talk to you about tonight, which is, wait. First we got to do something fun.
Yeah.
We actually prepped for this.
Our
I'm
game.
kind of excited. So this is a little game that I call IMDB or BS. So Charla has had a lot of roles over the years, and so she made me 2 cards here. And the first one, let's see, you got to tell me, is this 2 truths and a lie?
The first one, this one is 1 truth and 2 lies.
Okay, so I have to guess which of these roles she has actually played, and the other 2 she has not. Rocket scientist, psych patient, and nice lady turned crazy murderer. Okay.
3.
I think I gotta go with...
I could play all 3 of those brilliantly, by
You
the
could,
way.
no, absolutely. I'm gonna go with rocket scientist. Is that true?
I have not played a rocket
No?
scientist.
Oh, I thought I'd seen something on
No.
Facebook.
No.
Okay, all right. So
It's down
which?
to 2.
All right, let's go. Nice lady turned crazy murderer.
Absolutely.
Is that the one?
Yes. Yes.
What was that in?
It was it was a little short film back in Birmingham, Alabama when I lived there. There was a group of people that would do these like scrambles for the Sidewalk Film Festival.
Oh,
so
nice.
you'd have like a 48-hour.
Yeah.
They'd give you the topic and like some object that you'd have to use and you'd have to
That's
write it.
fun.
Yeah. So it was. There was some like object that cursed me and I was like going around murdering my house guests. Yeah, it was fun. It's called The Delivery.
Fun. Okay. All right. So there's our 2 lies and a truth. So this now is 2 truths and a lie.
Yes.
And they are Prostitute number 1. Pooping lady. Crying woman on car. Okay. All right.
Now, if you've seen some of my
yes.
work, you're going to know some of it. You're going to know.
I know you. You've been the pooping lady.
Absolutely.
I did see that one. What
Some
honors?
of my finest work.
What honors acting bestows on us? Prostitute number 1. Is that the lie? No.
Oh, that is the lie.
That's
yeah.
the lie.
That's
Okay.
the lie.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So okay, crying woman on car.
Yeah,
That's...
I've never been a prostitute. I was prostitute number 5, just not prostitute number 1.
Oh.
I'm kidding.
Awesome.
No, yeah,
Okay.
I was crying woman on car for a Ken Garff commercial.
Oh. I think I might have even
I was
seen
also
that one.
crying woman on a bench.
Same campaign or totally different?
It was a short film for a University of Utah student.
Fantastic.
But of course, the pooping lady, which is
Pooping lady,
for
which
the poopery
poopery.
commercials. How to poop at work. That was all mine.
Yep. I remember that one. That was after.
Got to make some really fun poop faces on a toilet.
That was pretty great. Okay, so but the real reason that you're here tonight is to talk about auditioning.
Yes.
For those of you who don't know, Charla holds audition workshops. I haven't for a little while because of some personal stuff, but
Yeah, I've had surgery. Been recovering. But yeah, I'm
but yeah.
back. I'm back at it now.
and other kinds of workshops too, not just auditioning, but that seems to be
Right.
your specialty.
Yeah, auditioning is kind of what I normally do. I have a weekly class on Wednesday nights. It's switched now to Tuesdays. It's the weekly audition workout. And we basically just get actors up on camera, give them sides, and have them do cold readings. And we just work on our auditioning skills.
Awesome.
And then the other classes that I teach are more like workshops for youth and teens. And then I'll do an intensive here and there. I've done some self-taping seminars and among other things. So.
Awesome. So yeah, I think auditioning is something that gets talked about a lot, but these are some great some do's and don'ts.
Okay.
And so let's talk about these.
Really, I wrote down the don'ts for you.
These are the
and
don'ts.
I will incorporate the do's as I.
Good.
I think we'll just
Good.
go.
Okay. So yeah, let's just kind of knock these out. So number 1 seems really obvious, and yet
No,
this
I had
is
to put it.
this is don't
Be late.
late.
Just don't be late. And it's funny because a lot of people think that being on time is like parking on time. You know, pulling up to the parking spot on time. But it's much more than that. You have to anticipate traffic. You have to know where you're going. If it's a new casting office that you've never been to, do some research, you know. It's not quite as much here in Utah, but in LA, oh my goodness. I mean, it could take, you had to tack on an hour to any place that you were going. But yeah, you should be 10 minutes early at least. And that's when you're actually signing in at the audition.
And on the flip side of that, what is the earliest you should
You don't
get there?
want to get there too early.
Yeah, I've
right?
heard that.
I don't like to get there more than like a half an hour early, just kind of as a general rule of thumb. Sometimes they will see you early if you're early, but other times they are going on the on your audition time that you signed up for, and they just, so you're going to be sitting there in the office twiddling your thumbs. They're going to be wondering what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like, why is this person sitting here?
Well, and it doesn't make a good impression to be overly early because they don't even know you're there.
No.
In most cases.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. Next is don't make excuses or apologize. Now, I need some explanation on this one.
Okay, so this kind of has to do, it can tie into the being late thing as well. And it's funny, I've been guilty of this once or twice, I think, in an audition. You are late because of things out of your control, let's say, and you bust into the audition room, they finally call you in, and it's excuse after excuse. Oh my God, I'm so sorry I'm late. There was traffic, and there was a wreck on the 15, and then, parking was really, really hard or the other excuse is, so I didn't get the sides until like midnight last night from my agent, and I had to work all night, and I really didn't get a chance to look at these very well, so I'm really sorry if I'm, not off book. The apologizing, the excuses for everything. They don't care. They want you to show up and do your work. And they want you to be prepared.
Well, and I think a lot of times auditions, it may not even be how you read. It's how you present yourself.
Absolutely.
And I feel like that just discounts you
Yeah.
completely from the
For sure.
get-go. Being too chatty. That's number 3. What?
I think we run the risk of that in a market where we all know each other. So I think it's there's 2 different scenarios here, or two places where the chattiness could be an issue. One is in the waiting room, where it's like a family reunion where you're seeing actors that you maybe haven't seen in a few weeks, and you all know each other, and you're all very familiar, and it can get very loud and chatty. And in the waiting room, it's really in your best interest to focus on what you're going to do when you walk in that audition room. Take a minute, kind of collect your thoughts, get yourself together, focus on what you need to be doing rather than just having a little chit chat with your actor friend that's next to you.
That's good.
The other chattiness that can happen is in the audition room with the casting director or the assistant, or even the director if it's like a callback situation where there are more people in the room. That chattiness of feeling like you want to be charming, and so you need to throw out these little anecdotes and be fun and funny. It's like, no, they're not there to chit chat with you. They're there to see what you brought to this particular role and what you've prepared.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And I was actually going to ask, what would you recommend to an actor as a good strategy for dealing with waiting room chit chat? So a friend comes over and you really want to talk to each other. What do you do?
There are a few different ways to handle it. I think being direct is probably the best way to just say, hey, listen, I'm so sorry. Can we catch up after I get out of the audition? Because I need to focus on this. I need a few more minutes with the script before I'm really ready. They'll totally understand, because in reality, that lets them off the hook too, that they probably need that time as well. The best case scenario, and this happened to me at an audition not too long ago, a friend of mine was there and we wanted to chat. We knew we both had our sides in front of us and we were actually trying to look at our sides. So we offered to read the scene with each other.
Oh, yeah,
to practice. It's like, so we stepped out into the hallway and just took a moment to read for each other. We were reading for different roles. And that was really useful. So you can still get to spend time with your friend, but put it to good use.
That's good. That's very good suggestion. Good. This one, okay, I have using gimmicks is your 4th.
Okay.
There are famous stories about gimmicks that have worked, but
They're so risky.
Okay.
So using a gimmick, and that can be anything from a prop to some costume that you're wearing, or just some really crazy bold choice that you've made that just to get the attention of the casting director. In general, you don't want to wear a costume. The best advice I ever heard was dress to suggest the character. Now, Jeff Johnson, who is, our premier casting director here in town, he says, and I love what he says too, he said, I would suggest to dress the way that the character you're reading for would dress if they're going in for a job interview.
Okay.
So, in other words, like a policeman, if you're going into a police department for a job interview, you're not going to wear your cop outfit.
Police, yeah.
Right? You're just going to wear a button down,
Dress for the job you
right?
want.
So anyway, I thought that was good
funny.
advice. So
Yeah, that's great.
So the costumes are a no. Props. The only props that you should use in an audition are props that you have on you all the time. Your phone.
Okay, yeah.
Keys, a pen or a pencil, glasses, a water bottle, whatever you have on you that and don't turn it into something else, right? Like don't turn, if you have your phone on you in an audition and it calls for a remote control, like you're watching television, don't turn your phone into a remote control. It's a phone.
Okay.
Use it if your character's making a phone call.
Okay.
Don't pantomime.
Okay, yes, this was my other question.
Right. So this is my favorite, where actors, they have a phone in their pocket.
Yeah.
And here's what they do instead. Hey, so apparently they turn their hand into a banana phone. Like, it's not even like they're holding a fake phone, right? Because this is how we would hold a fake phone. But they actually turn their whole hand into a phone, which is just kind of ridiculous.
It's okay, yeah.
It's distracting.
In fact, I remember at some point in college, I noticed people started pantomiming this instead of this.
Right.
Which was, anyway, that's just a kind of a funny side
you kind of want
note.
to stay away from pantomiming, but use props very sparingly. So as far as like gimmicks would be concerned, There's a story that Jeff Johnson tells about this woman and 50 pounds of bacon. Apparently there was, and I might get some of the details wrong, but the gist of it is that there were, in the sides somewhere, it mentioned 50 pounds of bacon. Oh, no. And apparently this woman comes into the audition in the waiting room with this big cooler, like, you know, a wheeled cooler. And she's wanting to bring it into the audition room, and I think he, or maybe Robert, who's his assistant, or maybe it was before Robert was helping him, said, no, you can just leave your cooler out in the waiting room, it's fine. And she said, no, I need it for the audition. And he's like, well, why on earth would you need that? And she said, well, I brought 50 pounds of bacon. And literally 50 pounds of bacon were in the thing. So yes, that is something that he will remember forever, but it's for the wrong reasons, right? I mean, why would he ever want to bring somebody back like that?
Yeah. That's the story they tell at the water cooler.
Yeah, so
not
just be careful. You want to be remembered for the right reasons.
Yeah.
You know.
And okay, so let's in the sides, let's say it does call for something prop wise that you don't have, but it's kind of important to the scene in a way, which constitutes bad side choice in my opinion. But let's say that happens. How would you approach that?
So here's the thing. When you're in an audition for film or television or a commercial, you're being framed about here. Okay. That's all they're seeing in the video. Okay. So anything that you're doing with your hands below that frame, it's just for your own self, right? It's not for them to see what you're doing physically. So you can pantomime for your own benefit things that would be below frame. You know, if there's a bit where, I'm trying to think of an example of what could be included as a prop. Maybe there's a gun.
Okay, yeah.
And that's another big don't, which I did not list on that, but this falls into gimmicks. Never bring a weapon. And there are casting directors in LA who have had this happen because the character is supposed to have a gun. Yeah. And then they're pulling a gun at the casting director in the audition. Well, it's not good. So yeah, let's say that a gun is in the scene. You have to fake all that. You have to just sort of adjust your action to this very small frame.
Good?
Yeah.
Good, okay. And number 5, being unprepared.
Which constitutes everything, basically. Yeah. You'd be surprised how many actors walk into auditions without really having read any more of the scene than is just their lines. Usually you're given a breakdown with other character descriptions. You're given a synopsis of the movie or the television show. Oftentimes you are given the whole script. So whatever materials you get before you go into that audition, you need to make sure you read every single word. It's part of being an actor. It's just part of our what we have to do to be prepared. Read. Research the casting director. Research the director that's going to be working on the project. Research the show. If it's a television show that's already on, research it. Find out what's the genre. What's kind of the style that they use acting wise. If it's a sitcom, it's going to be way different than like a procedural drama, like Law and Order. So it's just it's in your best interest as an actor to research as much as you can before you walk in that audition room. Being prepared also would mean memorization. You've got to memorize your sides. Now, always hold your sides with you. You should always have them in your hand. And that's another thing you can turn into a prop.
Oh, sure.
A paper prop.
Yeah.
It could be a menu. It could be a pamphlet, whatever it is.
Yeah.
A diary, homework.
Makes sense.
So, yeah, always hold your sides, but be as memorized as possible. And the reason you hold your sides is because sometimes your nerves get the best of you and you just go up on a line. And the casting director doesn't want to have to bail you out. Yeah. It makes them feel more comfortable if you're going to be able to be responsible for yourself.
That's good.
In the audition.
That's really good. All right, we're going to take a break real quick. We're going to go ahead and thank our sponsors. Voyage Direct Primary Care, they've got an excellent healthcare product. You should check them out. They're excellent for filmmakers. Summa Business Law, these are great folks for your contracts and non-disclosure agreements. All those sort of documents go into filmmaking. And, of course, Creative Stream, who lets us film here. So let's just take a second and give some sponsor love.
is self-employed. He works hard to provide for his family, but he's found it almost impossible to provide them with decent health care. The cost of insurance keeps increasing while the coverage decreases, so Peter spends more to get less. And even with insurance, he often avoids taking his family to the doctor because of high deductibles. It's hard to get a timely appointment, and it's even harder to fork out hefty copays when visits rarely last more than 10 minutes. Enter Voyage Direct Primary Care. For one low monthly fee, Peter can provide his family with easy access to their own personal doctor, who specializes in caring for the whole family. Voyage Direct Primary Care is like the Netflix of medicine, but instead of unlimited movies, members get unlimited relaxed office visits, easy access to their doctor via text, phone call, video chat, and even an occasional house call. Say goodbye to copays and deductibles. Say hello to affordable, personalized health care. Voyage Direct Primary Care is fixing healthcare. Sign up today at voyagedpc.com.
Running a successful business is hard work, and navigating the complexities of the law is time-consuming and even costly. There are so many legal considerations: business formations, entity selection, taxes, partnership agreements, licensing, hiring employees, business contracts, non-disclosure agreements, sale of a business, estate plans, and mergers, just to name a few. This is more work than most business owners can handle on their own. Let Summa Business Law guide you through each phase of your business and help your business achieve further growth. Summa Business Law offers a flexible subscription service that makes it possible for anyone to have access to the business counsel they need. A monthly subscription can give you access to document reviews, protecting you from potential legal threats, one-on-one meetings, as well as business and legal advice. We offer mobile services that come to you to save you time and money, and calls and emails are available at any time at no additional cost. Contact Summa Business Law today to schedule your free consultation and help your business reach its potential. Welcome back to our awesome audition do's and don'ts, mostly focused on the don'ts, but this is great information. These are aspects of auditioning. I used to audition a lot back when I did more acting, and I hadn't thought about a number of these, at least not in this light. So this is excellent. So the next one is posting on social media.
Yeah. This is a really, it's a hard one because, actors really want to shout out to the world when you get a really great audition. And you can post. I'm not saying don't post anything on social media. Be careful about the information you're posting. You can really shoot yourself in the foot. Don't post the name of a project. Don't post what role you're auditioning for. Don't even post, I've got a big Disney Channel project. Just, you can keep it very generic and say, I've got a really exciting audition today, wish me luck. Whatever, you want to kind of, because as actors, we do need to use social media to sort of forward our careers and to make sure that people are kind of paying attention. So I get that need. We just be careful. Don't leak any information. I've known that it's shot people in the foot. They've shot themselves in the foot because they've said either a name or a director or a network, and casting directors and directors, they will check your social media. They do it, and if they see something that's going to compromise a project that they're doing, you're going to be out.
Because Glee had this problem. Not to mention Tom Holland getting all of his Avengers spoilers.
Oh yeah.
He's giving out, but people who give out spoilers, that's I would say a pretty bad indicator if they're do you have any horror stories that you can share? I don't want you to.
No, not. I've heard a few stories here and there, where an actor will post, I got a big commercial audition for, Coke or whatever, and the casting directors see the post and they're like, no, and who knows why? They don't want it out there. We've got to respect that as actors, that there's some things that we just can't share. There will be a time when we can share it, when the commercial's airing and we've already booked it and it's done and it's out, then yes,
that's
please
the big news
share it.
anyways.
Right, that's what people want to see, is the real thing. And when we can add it to our reel and all that, that's exciting. So
Cool. This one is definitely something I would throw into any production conversation, but not one I've heard as much in auditioning, which is being difficult or negative.
I don't think think it probably happens all that much, but I'm not a casting director, so I don't know. But I have heard some casting directors say that there are actors who, they kind of have that diva attitude. They're, first of all, they're offended that they're called in for a one-liner as opposed to, a more substantial role. They think it's a waste of their time. They just, and they'll have the attitude, but then they'll also be talking about it in the waiting room about how stupid it is that they got called in for, prostitute number one instead of instead of the named character.
Instead of pooping lady, they could have been called in for pooping lady.
Exactly. Yes, we all hear that no role is a small role, and it really is true. I'm sure you've heard stories of people who have booked things, television shows where their character was supposed to get killed off in the first episode, and the producers loved what they did, so they kept him.
Paris Geller, Gilmore Girls.
Oh, okay.
She auditioned for Rory, didn't make it, and they basically wrote the character for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think no matter how big the role, we have like a duty to ourselves and to the art to do our work. Just show up and be there and be positive and be confident and have fun. Why the negativity? It's just going to shoot you in the foot.
It's my rule as a director. I will not hire someone who I know to be negative. Mm-hmm. And actually, I keep an eye on social media and the filmmaker groups,
a lot of people do.
And if I see a lot of negativity out of a particular person, they're not likely to get hired.
I think if actors remember that producers, directors, they want to work with people that they're going to get along with, that they want to hang out with on set.
Yeah.
These are going to be long days,
Yeah.
Why would they want to hire somebody who's going to be constantly talking bad about people, constantly having problems, always an issue? You're not going to want to hire those people.
Yep, and that's not to say, especially on the social media stuff, that's not to say pointing out an issue is a bad thing.
No, not at all.
But it's the negativity. That's the real.
And you'll see patterns with people on social media that are like that. I think it's the constant. Oh, this went wrong today, and there's always something that's wrong with my life. It's like the complaining and we want to vent, and there's a time for that. Maybe with our personal friends or when we're at home.
People who aren't going to hire us.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Good. That's great. Okay, so we talked about a few waiting room behavior don'ts, but there's some specific ones that you want to address.
It's funny. I probably kind of rolled these into the earlier ones, but okay. I'm going to talk about this for young actors.
Okay, how young are we talking?
Children, teenagers. Because there was a story in a casting director in LA who does commercial casting, had some young people in for a role. They were probably 10-year-old boys or something like that.
Oh, man.
And, most of them have been doing it for a while in that
true.
market, and they're fairly professional. Well, there was this one kid who was just running up and down the hallway outside, really loud, arguing with his little brother, just like nonstop. And the mom was not really doing much to stop them. The casting director happened to be coming from the restroom into the actual audition room at the time and saw what was happening and saw the kid's name on the sign-in sheet. And he told his assistant, tell the mom just to go home.
Wow.
He wouldn't even see them. They wouldn't even see the kid.
Yeah.
So what happens in the waiting room is it doesn't happen in a bubble. It's not like you're protected from things. There are people that are listening.
Yeah.
In a lot of casting offices or studios, there's a receptionist sitting there that's, handling the sign-in sheet. She's gonna hear things, or they're gonna listen. So this happened to me the other day in an audition waiting room. I was just sitting there minding my own business, looking over my sides, and I hear somebody come in and start talking to a friend and really trash talking the director, who was actually the director for this film that we were doing. Now, I don't think the director was in the room, because it was a casting director who was running it, but still, you've just got to be careful. Like, the walls have ears. You never know who's going to hear you. I like to tell my students that the audition starts in the parking lot. Literally, as soon as you get out of that car, the audition starts. You don't know who you're going to be walking in with. You don't know who's going to hear you talking on the phone about how much you hate this casting director or whatever. I just did the pantomime phone. Did you see that? Well, let me do that again. Talking on the phone, saying, you know,
much
you'll
better.
never, blah, blah, blah. Anyway.
You're hired.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Okay. We need to kind of wrap up,
I
actually,
know.
because I mean, this has flown by. Using the sides too much. Now, you talked about having it memorized
Yeah.
and holding on to it.
Yes. Just not relying on the sides too much. Be prepared, be memorized. You might be surprised how many actors come and want to just fly by the seat of their pants. They're like, oh, I'm really good at cold readings, but the more you understand the sides, it's to your benefit, right?
I think I do a lot of corporate filming these days, and I think I dread hearing the words from anybody, oh, I'm really good at. In a video film context, they're almost always wrong to some extent. Like, you're not
We
as good.
overestimate our
You're
ability.
not as good as maybe you think you are. So I like that. Yep. And then the last one, I wasn't exactly sure what to make of this. I think I know what you're maybe getting at. It says trying to get the audition right.
Yeah, so I think there's the, and you know, I go into so much more detail in my classes about the
course.
actual acting part of it. You know,
Yeah.
this is a lot of stuff that's kind of on the outside. But trying to get the audition right, I think a lot of the times we as actors have this idea that there's a certain way to do this scene. And if we can just like find the secret combination, then we'll get the job. But I think just to remind actors that the right way is their way. You bring yourself to the audition. That's all you have is yourself. Bryan Cranston is famous for some quote about talking about the fact that he really changed as an actor when he started to look at the audition as an opportunity to tell his story, to tell his version of the story, to create and like make art, you know? So I think as the audition starts in the parking lot, the first day of work starts in the audition room. If we can start to look at the audition as our first day of work rather than like the big tryout,
Yeah.
then it lets us off the hook. We show up prepared, we're ready. If we showed up as prepared as we do when we show up on set to shoot,
That's a good.
then we would book so much more.
That's a
We'd
good.
be more confident, we'd be ready, we would be so ready. And if we can just have that mindset when we walk into those auditions, it's more rewarding for us because it feels like we're just there to do our work. We're there to tell our story.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, well, it's actually time to wrap up.
Oh my gosh.
I could have gone for another 40
We'll
minutes
have to have a
easily.
part 2
Yes.
with Charla Bocchicchio.
Absolutely. And it's funny because I knew your when we filmed before, it was with your
Charla
old last
Cochran,
name.
yeah,
Cochran.
my-
I was like,
my
that's easy.
Previous marriage.
And now I've forgotten it, but I didn't know. I didn't remember anyway. So thanks so much for being here.
Of course.
This has been really excellent. And how can people learn more about your workshops? How can they attend?
Yeah, they can check out my website, charlaactor.com. I didn't want to make it charlabocchicchio.com because I figured no one would be able to spell it, so charlaactor.com. Most of my information about classes, workshops is there. You can check out my social media. All of my handles are Charla Actor as well on Instagram and Facebook and
Cool.
Twitter. I don't really use the Twitter that often.
Yeah, it's kind of a...
Yeah.
Anyway, awesome. Okay, well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And yeah, stay tuned. We're going to have more excellent stuff next week on Film 360.